This is Sierra with East of the Moon Tarot. I am coming back to you for day 3 of the NaNoWriMo Tarot challenge. Day 3 is significantly shorter than the last couple of days have been. It's one of the really, really short days, so this is going to be a very brief video. I do apologize for not being able to get these videos up on consecutive days, but like I had said previously, this is kind of just a for fun thing, and it's a challenge that I'm, putting in a Facebook group and everything. So it's not really something that I'm devoting a lot of like my professional time to. Bills still have to get paid, and this ain't paying them. But I've also had some stuff going on with my family, and I live in the middle of nowhere and have really shitty rural internet service, so upload takes forever. So having little short videos like this will be kind of good for me. So I'm going to try to keep my rambling to a minimum. So today I am using the rare out of print Vertigo Tarot. This is the bag that it came in. I keep some little stones in here with it. I'm going to show you guys because it is such a short day. I keep a piece of petrified wood, a piece of labradorite. I don't think you can see any of the flash though. And then a couple of pieces of aquamarine. Those are the ones that I decided felt like this deck. So I'm excited to play with this one and show it off a little bit. I don't use it for clients. This is one of those that's those decks that's really, really super duper close to my heart. Neil Gaiman is my favorite writer, has been for a really long time. I read American Gods the first time, I think in 2005, 2006, something like that. That book is life-changing, so if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do. If you've watched the TV show, don't assume that means you know anything about the book, because the show sucked. And if you are interested, this deck was conceived of based on the artwork from the Sandman Chronicles by Neil Gaiman and illustrated by Dave McKean. And Rachel Pollack wrote the book for this deck, and she's probably my favorite living tarot writer. So if you get a chance to get a copy of this, do it. I don't think it's ever going to come back into print, and it's a great, gorgeous, beautiful deck, which I will show off, because Dave McKean's artwork is just spectacular. It's the 8 of Cups, the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, oh yeah, the Page of Pentacles. She's gorgeous. Okay, so for today's little segment, I have my computer pulled up. This part is called The Journey Begins, because this is all about just kind of getting started. Now you've got your character, and you kind of have a little bit of an idea of what your story is going to be about. So, now we need to know, okay, like, how do we get started here? Where do we start writing? You're going to hear me talking a lot in these videos about the various obstacles that one has to overcome as a writer. And this is another one of those huge stumbling blocks where it's like, okay, well, I've got the idea, I've got the characters, I've got everything named, like I know what I'm going to do essentially, but I don't know where to start or how to get started. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received as far as writing goes is to, you have to start your story at a point of action. If you, in a lot of my writing groups, we call the parts where nothing's happening, we call those walking around bits. And those can be very important to a story because that's how you flesh out your world. That's how you do your world building. That's how you develop characters and relationships and give your story depth and everything. So those parts are important. It's equally important not to start there though. So typically you want to start writing your book at a point of action, as opposed to, well, we're going to ramble on for 20 or 30 pages setting the stage for what's about to happen. That's a very Dickensian method of writing, and honestly, I absolutely detest it, almost much as I detest Charles Dickens. So, let's get started. This one's going to be real short, like I said. So, we are exploring the plot of our story, at least the very beginning points. You want to start, and you can use a different deck for every day that you do these exercises, or you can use the same deck throughout if that makes your life easier. But you want to start off with a really, really, really very well shuffled deck for this exercise. So if it's something new that you haven't shuffled 100 times, or if it's a deck that you've already reordered recently or something like that, make sure that you shuffle it riffle, overhand. I read a cool thing earlier today that said, if you're a riffle shuffler, you have to riffle shuffle a deck, like a brand new deck that all of the cards are in order. You only have to riffle shuffle it something like 8 times to get it fully randomized. Whereas with the overhand shuffle, you have to shuffle overhand over 100 times before you get a deck fully randomized. So I don't know how true that is, but I thought it was really cool in it that I would share that today. So this exercise might be a little bit different for those of you that are used to shuffling and just drawing cards from the top. That's not how this exercise is. Once you have your fully shuffled deck in hand, what you're going to want to do is start flipping through your deck, and I'm going to actually pause the video while I do this portion so that it's not just a bunch of me looking at my cards off screen. But you're going to flip through your deck, and I want you to find the Tower card. Pull out the Tower card as well as the card to the left and to the right and the card on the bottom. So the Tower card itself is going to be the significator. You don't actually have to read that card. Sit it, to the side or above your other cards. But the card to the left of it is going to be card 1 in your spread. The card to the right of it is going to be card 2 in your spread. And the card on the bottom of the deck is going to be the 3rd card in your spread. So I'm going to pause and do that myself right now. And I'll see you back in just a second. And we're back. Okay, so I found my Tower, see? And to the left of the Tower, I found the Ace of Pentacles. To the right of it, I found the 7 of Cups. And on the bottom of the deck, I got the Page of Swords. I also pulled the Temperance card because it's my favorite card in this deck, and isn't she stunning? I just love her so much. Okay, that one was just for fun though. So, the first card, the card that was to the left of your Tower, is, for me, the Ace of Pentacles again. This card represents what causes the event that sets your quest in motion. So this is the motivation, the cause of the event itself, not the event itself. So if I was going to read this, the cause of the event might have something to do with material loss or gain. It might have something to do with some sort of startup money, with a home, with a job, with a business, probably something like that. The Pentacles are the suit of earth. They, traditionally are very tied to the material things, to wealth and the accumulation of wealth. And since we already know that my protagonist is an heiress, it doesn't not make sense to have money be one of the motivators for whatever event causes all the chaos that gets the story started. So that works. That makes sense. what is the event? So this is the actual event, and this will be represented by the card that was to the right of your tower. I got the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups, sorry. I can't read tonight. So the Seven of Cups, that's interesting, and that's going to take a little more creativity on my part to interpret. So just right off the cuff, I'm going to say, because this is a magical realism novel, maybe the event is a dream, which, let me just stop and pause for a second. I hate tropes. I hate them. I'm already kind of working with one based on this outline, and I don't have to work with it. You know, I can throw out parts of the outline that I don't like. But so one of the tropes that I'm already working with is the reluctant hero trope. It's just been done and done and done again to death, and that's what a trope is. It's something that you are just so tired of seeing because it is so uninspired. This isn't even a trope at this point. Like, starting a book with a dream is a cliche, and it's a really bad one, and it's a really good way not to ever get your book published, because publishers, let me just tell you guys, I work in the industry, publishers hate books that start with dreams. They hate them. Agents hate books that start with dreams. So I probably won't actually start it with a dream unless I just find a really dope-ass way to do that. But I will also say to myself as well as to the rest of you, there is no dope-ass way to do that. I mean, there might be, but you shouldn't assume that you're the exception. So that's going to take some further exploration for me as far as how I want to interpret that Seven of Cups to be the event, the catalyst. And maybe they're at some kind of exposition where there's entrepreneurs and inventors, and maybe that's where the event happens, something like that. But it's definitely going to have something to do with dreams, whether literal, I'm asleep dreaming, or the more figurative, like, oh, these are things that I have goals towards that I want to accomplish. So I'm going to play around with that one. The third card is what it represents the initial thoughts and feelings, emotions, and everything that your protagonist is going to experience. Sorry. I'm sure I'm not supposed to grab the camera mid-recording, but I'm not editing anything, so y'all get over it. So this card represents what your protagonist is thinking, feeling, what are they going through at this point in time. Because I have the Page of Swords, I think, like, my protagonist was probably at this event in some sort of learning capacity, because the Page of Swords for me is very much a student, an academic, someone that is pursuing higher knowledge towards, you know, some subject. So she's probably in attendance wherever this is, trying to better herself, trying to learn something. You know, I like that. So now I have even more to go on. Maybe this takes place at a college or a university. Maybe she has snuck into class or something. There were some, but there were not very many universities that women could attend around the turn of the century. So we shall see where I decide to go with this. If any of your cards come out and they are unclear to you, or, you know, you're kind of struggling with interpreting them in these positions, feel free to draw some clarifying cards. You know, you can either draw them straight from the top of the deck, or you can shuffle again and just draw a couple of cards to help you clarify, like, each one of these cards that you pulled if you want some more information. I might do that with the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. I think I really get where the Page of Swords is coming from, especially as it relates to my character as the Queen of Swords. So yeah, I might do some clarifiers myself. I hope that you guys are enjoying these videos. Please subscribe or drop comments or something like that. Give me some kind of encouragement to keep doing these if you enjoy them, because that will help me stay motivated to keep doing them. And I don't think I've said on this video yet, but please go follow this in the Divination Guild on Facebook. It's a really great group with really awesome people, and that's where I'm posting all of this content right now. And you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at East of the Moon Tarot. Thanks for tuning in.